Welcome to California in Focus. I'm Eliana Carnodal. U.S. Senator Alex Padilla, a Democrat from California, reiterated the state's commitment to continued funding for the deportation defense of migrants and undocumented immigrants. Joining me with more on this story is the Center Square's California reporter, Kenneth Schrupp. Kenneth, tell us about this program and what the state does.
Hey, Eliana. Just starting off, President-elect Donald Trump's promised mass deportations could have a major impact on California, which is home to approximately 2.7 million undocumented immigrants. For a state like California, where this is such a large part of the labor force, these deportations could prove in some ways very costly, although some cost savings may also be generated. Senator Padilla said that the state is going to continue supporting undocumented immigrants and migrants in their deportation defenses, saying, quote, "If it's legal assistance, legal advice, legal support, that's just the California way. We embrace our diversity. Our diversity has made our communities thrive and our economy thrive." However, given the state's looming deficits, many Republicans wondered whether this funding would be better spent elsewhere. California already funds legal services for undocumented immigrants, including a separate fund just for deportation defense. This system included $24 million in grants last year just for deportation defense, and another $37 million for a wide range of other immigration-related legal services for both legal and undocumented immigrants. Under current guidelines, individuals who have been convicted for or are currently appealing conviction of a violent or serious felony are ineligible for state-funded deportation defense, but there was a proposal last year to end that ban so that high-level felons could receive taxpayer-funded deportation defenses. And it's proposed allowing these funds to be used for any kind of relief that, quote, vacates, eliminates, or reduces a criminal record, conviction, or sentence that may have adverse immigration consequences. Now, this would have been an interesting tie-in with a 2022 bill called the Racial Justice Act, which allows undocumented immigrants to petition to overturn their convictions if said convictions could result in adverse immigration consequences. It's because high-level felonies tend to result in deportation orders. Putting all this together, California Governor Gavin Newsom called a special legislative session to fund lawsuits against the coming Trump administration. On their own volition, the state legislature added an additional $25 million for deportation defense, another $10 million for local city and county governments to sue or defend against the Trump administration, on top of the $25 million for the California Department of Justice to conduct cases against the coming Trump administration.
So can California afford this?
Well, California doesn't exactly have any more money left to spend on new programs. The state's legislative analyst office says that the state has no capacity for new spending commitments, and State Assembly Speaker Robert Rivas has said that he agrees with this assertion. So it's not really clear how the state would pay for these new legal defenses. But looking deeper into the costs of undocumented workers on California, it does seem that there is a significant amount more spent on undocumented workers than what is secured in taxes. The Manhattan Institute conducted a recent study finding that the average native-born American is a net $256,000 drain on federal finances, while the typical illegal immigrant is a net fiscal drain of $320,000. If we go look more granularly at state and local data, the situation does seem fairly negative as well. California expects to spend about $15 billion in state tax revenue on healthcare for the state's 2.7 million undocumented immigrants, or about $6,000 per individual. This is based on an estimate of a recent expansion of the state's Medi-Cal system to include all undocumented immigrants. Based on the average undocumented worker's wage in California of $13 an hour, that's an annual income of about $27,000. That results in about $464 in state income taxes, assuming that income taxes are actually paid on this income, which is often under the table and in the form of cash. So let's assume that 30% of their remaining income goes to rent and the rest goes to sales tax qualified spending. And it also isn't just in the cash untaxed economy. That would be about another $1,400 in state sales taxes and another $426 in sales taxes for a city like, say, Los Angeles. That's a lot less than just what Medi-Cal spending per undocumented individual is likely going to be, and a very small fraction of what the city of Los Angeles spends per resident. So we're looking at maybe about $2,000 in state taxes compared to about $6,000 in just Medi-Cal spending alone. And let's just say about $450 in city sales taxes compared to about $3,100 spent per city resident.
Kenneth, thank you for your insights on this story. Listeners can keep up with this story and more at thecentersquare.com.